Just 2 days ago, I uploaded a video and I said this. FD3, the next competitor or next big company on the market providing drum samples, they've been doing this already for some years, where you can buy just cymbal packs from Zildjian or Sabin, or just buy snare packs. This is what I really miss from Toontrack. So guys, if you're listening and watching this, this might be an idea for the future. And today, Toontrack released this.
The Kicks Snares EZX from Toontrack, an expansion library designed to be the ultimate collection of kick and snare drums.
So welcome to this review of the new EZX Kicks and Snares, which Toontrack released today, quite surprisingly. So there was no teasing before that. So this is how it looks. I think it looks neat. The drums don't look like they have different colors. It's just like this effect that Toontrack wanted to show, that they recorded all the samples in different studios around the world. So this is how it looks. So let me first jump together with you on the little product page that they made, where you find, like, basically, which I recommend every single time when they release a new product, you find all the specs and information and interviews and all that stuff. So let's just check what they did here. So we have 31 multi-sampled kick drums and 43 multi-sampled individual snare drums. And they added some neat features to that, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So you find audio demos, already some videos, cool pictures, and a list of all the instruments that they added. And you see it's just the best that you can get. Yamaha Recording Custom DW, PorcPie, Gretsch, of course, Noble and Cooley. Even for the snare drums, it's just like the who is who of great snare drum sounds. Of course, all-time favorite Ludwig Black Beauty, Superphonic, Caviato, the Ludwig Acrolite, Brady Jara. So it's just like all sizes and tones, and we're gonna talk about this in a second. So let's jump back to the EZX. So what they did here, you see, first of all, I think Matthias Eklund, head of sound design at Toontrack and one of the founders, he made a bunch of presets. I'm going to show some of them and a few as well. And you find 8 different studios, the names of the studios they were recorded in. And on the product page that I just showed you a few seconds ago, you find all the information about the studios. So they're basically, you can distinguish them between the size of the studio as well. So let's jump first to the first 301 studio, kit 1 here, and just listen how that sounds right off the box. So as for every EZX, EZDrummer expansion, the samples are pre-processed, so they're not completely raw as you would expect from an SDX expansion for Superior Drummer. But that's exactly the purpose of this library. So you can pre-listen to every of the samples here, just like by using the arrow function here. And you already get an idea like how big the variety of sounds are. Same with the snare drums. So let me dial in back to the first one here. It's just a crazy amount of instruments. And for the drum set, because they not provided a kick and snare drum, you get 1 pair of hi-hats, 16-inch Sabian. You get 2 crash, both from Sabian, 18-inch Sabian EZX and a Sabian prototype. And you get 1 ride cymbal, 22-inch Sabian prototype. And a set of toms. Like, the picture is not completely correct, I would say. 10 by 12, 14, 14, and 16 by 16 sling and 9060, so amazing sounding drums. It's usually a 1 up, 2 down configuration, but we don't want to be too picky here. Great sounding toms, but I think the purpose of this EZX is not to get with all the other expansions you are used to, that you get like a big library of tens of tom sets and cymbals. This is really all about the kicks and snares. And I think the idea is kind of like genius, because this is exactly what people were looking for when you just want to create a beat. But if you want to have a full drum sound, you want to create a fill, just wanted to preview how it sounds like, here you are, you have toms, you have cymbals, so you can program a beat on that. When it comes to articulations, you have the classical center articulation, you have the rim shots, side stick of course, and the edge, which is great. So you can, if you are the drummers out there, you can take advantage of positional sensing on your snare drums, especially with the high-end modules from Roland and Yamaha, and if you have a decent trigger system on your snare drum. So you can use positional sensing playing on the edge, on the center, which is great. For the kick, it's quite easy. It's just the particular hit, but it's hard to get different articulations from the kick anyway. So that's fine for me. Just having a look of some of the presets here. Usually the name already gives you the first direction where it's come from. So let's start here maybe with the dark room. And let's go to what sounds nice. Happy phase is usually a term in mixing. Happy phase EQ is usually boosting the highs and the lows and dipping some of the mids. So let's see if this sounds exactly that way. Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit exaggerated, but I think that's the idea. Kind of reverb, kind of verb. The cool thing though, what I wanted to tell you here is that when you go to the mixer section, for an EZX, it's an almost incredible amount of control you have over the sound. So it's called kicks and snares, so they focus on that. So you find the typical kick in and kick out microphone. You have a kick sub and you have a kick sub 2 even. So let me just solo them and have a preview. So this already sounds great on its own, but what they did is adding like those channels, which are electronic sounds and samples, which you can add. And I think this is like really for the drum and bass guys, but like musical, you can use this. I already have tons of idea how to use that. So kick drum skin low and kick drum skin high is probably, when you listen to the samples or the sounds here, is really like the sub lows or the lows and the really high. With this, you can add either like some really in your chest, what you feel in your chest and your stomach, like the lows, or you can dial in some of the really high attack to make really like a cut through kick. So let's first listen on their own, first with the skin low here. So I assume you are listening on good headphones, because on crappy iPhone speakers you won't hear that sound. So this is like really like the low sub club bass EDM dance music sound, skin high. So this sound or this trick is used often by mixing engineers around the world. It's really, you isolate this, the high-end attack, which is basically or simulates the attack of the beater hitting the head of the kick drum. Some of, like, you can use this in processing, just make a copy of your snare drum, isolate that transient, exaggerate that and blend it back in, so you can really dive in. But it will be clear when I dial it in due to the existing kick drum. So let's just solo them and bring those sounds down, and I will show you what I mean. So first, oh, I forgot to show you just the kick club here, which is great as well. So I don't know exactly why they call it club, but I assume like this because this is like the really high clicky attacky. So if you want to beat like guitar walls or like heavy dense, heavily compressed dance music, I think you will need this. So let's blend in the two high end here, articulations, and let's listen how that sounds. So bring this up. Here we go. So you can, right off the box, you have an amazing kick drum sound. And they did the same with the snare. So let me just unsolo them. So you see with the snare, you have snare top bottom, which is the common approach, right? But you even have snare sub, which is unusual, but when you listen to it solo, it makes sense. So it's really like the really sub lows that you know from a kick, but it makes sense when you add it to this snare. Again, this is really like for the EDM club music. So let's bring this in with the existing snare. So bring them back in here. And the same idea for the snare drums as for the kick drums. You have snare drum skin low, snare drum skin high, and snare drum stick attack. So let's first, again, let's listen to them in solo and then in context with the existing snares. So this is really like the club, like Rihanna dance music sound. So let's dial it in one by one with the rest of the snare drum here. So snare top bottom and solo them, and then let's listen to them. Oh man, listen to this. And the stick. Amazing. Then you have the common hi-hat, rack tom, 1 and 2, the floor toms, overheads. You have ambient channels. So just like the common thing in EZDrummer, and for as for every EZDrummer pack, you have the bleed controls here, so you can dial in some effects. So let's just listen to some of the presets. So go to the Air kit number 1. Let's have a listen on that. First, of course, make sure, Mike, that everything is unsoloed again. Here we go. But the real strength of this library, as for any library, of course, comes when you use it within Superior Drummer, which I'm going to show you now. So here we go, within Superior Drummer, kicks and snares. As for every EZX expansion in Superior Drummer, they didn't do the effort to match the colors of the EZX pack, which is fine. So EZX expansion and Superior Drummer always look the same. The drums are always black. So you only hint you get is this banner here in the back, so you see which EZX you're currently using. So as always, you can dial in everything of the individual tracks. In Superior Drummer, of course, you have the advantage that you can here really go inside and start to tweak even the existing or the added cool electronic sounds and samples that they added here, which I just showed you. So this is really great. And of course, which I highly recommend anyway, to use it in Superior Drummer because you simply have more control. One thing that I've noticed, which is of course great, is the low footprint that this EZX has. So I just loaded up the, let's say the Studio One kit here. What shows up are the macro controls, so the same as for EZDrummer, so you can dial in from here. So you see even like this track, this preset, just like 500 megabytes, which is incredibly and surprisingly low considering the fact that some of the presets from SDX expansions, for instance, can easily sum up to 4 or 5 gigabytes. So it's really low footprint, so you can use it easily live in the rehearsal room. You don't need much time to load the kit. So let's listen to the kit from here. The great thing, of course, what comes to mind in my case is not to use it as a standalone EZX, but to dial in with the existing drums. I think Toontrack made a video about this, but let me just quickly show you what I would think about. Easy to add, stacking the instruments, and then go to the kicks and snares when I find it here. So this one, choose the snare drum, and let's say, oh gosh, it's already peaking so loud. That's the cool advantage of pre-processed samples, isn't it? So stack on center. And now you have full control here on the right panel to dial in the level, the tuning, envelope settings, even the pitch. So to augment your existing drums, I think this EZX pack is amazing, that you really can like fatten up your drum sound. So let's bring this up here. So now let's play the groove here within Superior Drummer. And by the way, when you right-click here, the snare drum, you see you get all the snare drums that they included in the spec. So this is ridiculous, but it's amazing. It's just like, it takes me, I think, some hours, because just like this is the first review of the spec. I just like downloaded it 2 hours ago. So this is amazing. You can, I don't know where to start here. Let's go for the Ludwig 70s damped. But let's listen to the groove here. Same for the kicks. I mean, just look at the amount of kicks you can choose from. It starts from 18-inch. Let's check. We have 26-inch antique marching bass drum. So that's amazing. DW Collector's classic one always works. Sonor, which is always great. So you see, guys, I'm probably gonna make an updated video about this, how you use this in a musical application. I just wanted to just do the first review and upload it to YouTube. I think Toontrack really, you nailed it. This one is something else or something new. Toontrack never did anything like that before. You cannot buy this standalone, so you need EZDrummer or Superior Drummer, at least a core library anyway. But I think this is a fantastic add-on to the existing core library, which gives you already great sounds, great flexibility. But with this, I mean, just like multiplying the effects with 30 kick drums and 40 snare drums with the existing snare drums from, let's say, Superior Drummer, which are already a lot, you can create thousands of different options with all the ambient stuff going on and the effects. So I'm expecting to hear great sounding music and drum covers for my fellow YouTube followers on YouTube in the next weeks, if you want to pull the trigger on this, which I highly recommend. So that was my first view on the new EZX kicks and snares from Toontrack, just released today. This came surprisingly, as I said. However, I think Toontrack nailed absolutely the need of users out there, not only for drummers who want to augment their current libraries that they have, because due to the pure amount of kicks and snares they are provided in all those different ambients, and especially those additional tracks that I just showed, really, you can create millions of different options, stacking instruments, adding them, layer them. So there's for sure no excuse anymore for mixing and using good sounding snares and kicks. The pure amount of instruments is just overwhelming. It's really fantastic. It's hard to find the tune that you like, but as I said, you have so many options you can like choose from fat, dry, until big and airy. So I think this is really a great upgrade to the existing EZX. I think this is an absolutely must buy for everyone, and not only drummers. I mean, due to the sounds, it's clearly for me addressed as well to the singer-songwriter. It's heavily drum and bass related, club-based sounds. Or this EZX is just easy when you want to create a beat, just like having an idea on your guitar, on your keyboards as a singer-songwriter, and you just want a straight EZX that sounds good right off the box, because samples are of course pre-processed, but that's exactly the purpose of this pack. So just like open this EZX, it's really low on footprint, create a beat and just listen to it, and then maybe choose another library, or just like to create song ideas. I think that's amazing. But of course, even for the mixing engineer or for the drummer who just want to augment stacking instruments, or even use it on their own. I mean, the toms, they are provided, just 2 crash cymbals. Just like for a basic song, this is really enough. So great job, Toontrack. I really like that. I like that idea. I think it's exactly the right direction, what users need. Just like simple to use, great sounding, a lot of options. So, and kicks and snares, to be honest, is 90% of the backbone of any beat out there. So you focus on the right thing. So let me know in the comment section what you think about the EZX. Are you going to pull the trigger on that? Going to buy that? Do you still miss something? So let me know your comments. I appreciate every reaction. Thanks again for Toontrack for providing me a free license of that to do the review. Highly appreciate that. And to all you guys, have a fantastic week making music. See you next time. Bye bye.